So we have a very special guest that is coming. The list of his accolades are literally insane.
And also, Jack, he was your coach at USC too, wasn't he?
And you know what, Jackie, that's the funny part about it is I never really thought of that. I just did my job playing defense. She didn't know who I was.
Are you fucking kidding me? Yes.
Never.
You know,
never knew. They can't show that without paying me.
We are back with season 2. It's Lauren Deletsky.
And I'm Jackie G.
And this is the Click Clack Podcast. Welcome back, Clackers. This is a very special episode. But before we get into it, we have to remind everybody we're going to do Jackie's favorite soundbite that she'll never do.
Not we, you are going to do the soundbite.
I'll do the soundbite. Please, please, please join our community. Make sure you're subscribed to our channels, our YouTube, our Instagram. We have a really special guest, Jack. So I'm going to kick it over to you because you've got the connection here.
So we have a very special guest that is coming in to our studio here in Portland. He flew in for this episode. It's a super big deal. The list of his accolades are literally insane. He is a 5-time champion as a member of the Showtime Lakers. He's Defensive Player of the Year in 1987. He's been on the All-Defensive Team selection 8 times, which is an insane amount of times. He was a 2-time champion as a coach of the WNBA Sparks and Coach of the Year in 2000. He coached USC women's basketball for 4 years. He was 7 years as an NBA assistant coach, including a stint as interim head coach of the Denver Nuggets. And he's also, last but not least, a member of the NBA Hall of Fame class in 2024. We literally have an absolute legend. We have Michael Cooper that's coming on to the show today.
I just had to give a snap to that. And also, Jack, he was your coach at USC too, wasn't he?
He sure was. And I was lucky enough to be coached by him for 2 years of my time at USC. And I was in the best shape of my life. I'll just leave it there.
I love that. All right. Well, this is going to be one hell of an interview. I can't wait to be more of a fly on the wall for this interview and just see you guys go. So let's just jump right in.
Let's jump into it. Let's bring his ass in.
Let's go.
Clacker gang, welcome. We have NBA legend, former Showtime Laker Michael Cooper in my house, all the way from Los Angeles here in Portland, Oregon. We are super honored to have you on our show.
Former coach at USC.
Yeah, of course. And my former coach at USC, I had the privilege to be coached by you. So happy to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie's pleasure.
Okay, Coop, first question for you. You were recognized as one of the first 3-and-D players. So for our listeners, 3-and-D means a player that can shoot threes and can also play defense. It is a very specific role. Someone, as talented as you was able to embody that throughout a majority of their career. So my question to you is, what is it like to know that you were that player even before that phrase even existed?
And you know what, Jackie, that's the funny part about it is I never really thought of that. I just did my job. Playing defense was what I did first. And then the reason that the three came involved in it is because every time I touched the ball, my defensive player would just fall right into Kareem, Worthy, Magic's lap in the low post. So eventually I got tired of getting yelled at by my teammates. Coop, shoot the damn ball. And then Pat Riley was like, Coop, if you don't shoot, I'm just sit you on the bench.
Yeah.
So Magic took me out. Me and Magic and I went out and we shot 500 3-point shots.
Per day?
Every other day during the summer.
It's a lot of threes.
And I'd rebound for him, he'd rebound for me, and that's how that came about. But again, it wasn't anything I was trying to make a slogan out of it.
Yeah.
It was what was needed for our team to be successful.
Yeah, I can imagine as a player, you couldn't be a non-threat offensively for your team. So I can imagine that was probably instilled in you, that you had to be able to shoot the three when they were leaving you open. Otherwise, it was going to fuck up.
Well, that was the
offense.
Best thing about it. I was wide open.
Yeah.
So I was forced to shoot it. I had to shoot it. So
yeah.
I got good at it.
Says a lot about you for getting good at something that you might have not always been good at.
Jackie, coming from on a score like you were.
Coop, I just tried to be like you back in my day.
Be like Coop. Yeah.
She didn't know who I was.
Are you fucking kidding me? Yes.
Never.
Never
knew who
Coop,
I was.
That's not true. My dad was a big,
Her father knew me. He had to school her, so he had her Google me and do that YouTube
Yeah, exactly.
thing. Yeah.
So I knew you before you came in because I was prepped. Absolutely. Okay, Coop. So Larry Bird said that you were the best defensive player that he's ever faced. Could you tell us how that made you feel?
You know what? It's always very, very exciting and to have your peers to recognize you. And I before he said that, I had always said Larry Bird was the hardest player I've ever had to guard because, great players, Michael Jordan, George Gervin, Dr. J, Andrew Toney, just to name a few. Usually when they pass the ball, they'll take that rest. But no, Larry wasn't going to rest. He was always moving. He was going to go set a back pick. He was going to go get offensive rebound. He was going to do something to impact that play and that possession. So I always had to just know where he was at all times. So he was the hardest. And for him to say that about me, that kind of a little pat on my back to know that I was doing a pretty good job out there on the floor.
Yeah, I mean,
Jacki, do you know in
Here we
junior
go.
college I averaged like 20, almost 26 points a game?
Well, you played in junior college for 1 year and then went to New Mexico,
I played for
right?
2 years.
Okay,
No,
2 years. And then went on to New
But
Mexico.
my sophomore year, I averaged, so I could always score.
I know
People
you
just did
could.
that.
I know you
So-
could score, but you were scoring at a much lower level than in the NBA, right?
Well, you know why that happened, right? Because when
tell
I
us
got to
why.
the Lakers, Jerry West told me, Coop, there's not enough shots to go around. I had Kareem,
But he's the one that
Worthy, and
believed in
Jabbar
you,
Wills.
right? If I'm
Well,
not
yeah,
mistaken.
Jerry believed in me, but he was like, Coop, ain't enough shots, so you got to do something else to stay on the court.
Yeah,
So that's why I really honed in on defense.
love that. Going back to Larry Bird, how did you prepare for him differently than you prepared for other
A lot of
players?
film watching. Back in the day, it was beta and VHS, so just spent a lot of time watching him. I actually went out and bought the NBA package back then. It was like on TV, and I bought it just so I could get the Boston Celtics games. So I watched it. So when they weren't on national TV, CBS, I was still able to watch them. So.
That's what's up, Coop.
Now kids are playing the video games, right, and watching the TikToks. Is that some probably learning a little bit that way too?
Oh, for sure about me, but right now it's a whole different world with technology, and my son walks around with his phone. There was nothing we couldn't do that in the 80s, 70s, 80s.
But I bet that was very freeing.
It was because it made us more livable in today's world. Kids today, and especially when we had the COVID that hit, that shut the world down, people kind of went inside and weren't talking to anybody, so communication was lost. So now when you see people now, that's one rule I have on any teams I coach. When we're as a team, put your phones down. Can't have your phone, so you got to be able to talk.
I love that.
So where are you coaching right now?
I'm at Cal State LA, D2 school. I'm assistant coach there.
Okay.
And I coach in the Big Three.
I know. I've seen it on your Instagram.
Yeah,
Your Instagram's been popping off more lately.
Well, you know what? We got a good crazy team. I have Michael Beasley, Lance Stevenson.
I've been peeping you.
Yeah, so those guys are a handful to handle, but I kind of like giving them the freedom to do their thing, and even that phone thing goes with them too. Because if we're gonna be a team, you got to be part of a team. But going back to Larry Bird's statement about me being the best defensive player, that was something that I wore a badge with, because then it was Larry Bird one night, George Gervin the next night, a young Michael Jordan the night after that. So there was a lot of talent back then that you always had to be prepared to play.
Do you feel like the talent back then stacks up to the talent now, or do you think there's okay?
For sure.
I know this is a hot debate, so I just wanted to get an OG's perspective here.
Yeah, the talent back there, I think it stacks up to these guys. Might even be better, because you got to remember the kids nowadays. AAU basketball has really hurt the development, because coaches now are just getting kids that can shoot, run real fast, and jump real high. Back then, you had to know the fundamentals of the game: drop step, reverse pivot, all those parts of it, being a good passer, in order for you to be at least get an opportunity to play on the team. Now it's like, if I'm 6'9" and I can dunk, I'm on the team, no matter what fundamentals I have or not.
And one could argue that the physicality back then, the players nowadays wouldn't be able to hang with that, right?
Well, I think there's a few, but it was a lot more physical. And I know we're going to get into this segment a little later about the women's game, but that's what I love about the women's game, is that per player, women are more physical than men. Because on an NBA team, you may have that guy's a physical guy. Kevin Durant's a finesse guy. That guy right there is the guy that's going to get on. But the women's game, all players are like that. So that's what I enjoyed about that.
That's an interesting perspective, and I can't wait to dive more into that. But before we get there, I wanted to talk to you about some of the most iconic plays in NBA history that you have been so special to be a part of. And the first one, I would love to know from your perspective. Can you talk to us a little bit about the Coopa-Loop? Because when I first met you, everyone was calling you Coopa-Loop, and I'm like, why the fuck do people keep calling him Coopa-Loop? And I started calling you that. I don't even know why. Till my dad told me. Till my dad
Should
told
have
me.
Googled it.
Yeah.
Steve told me.
Well, the Coopa-Loop came about. It was a play because there wasn't any set plays for me.
Yeah.
And Magic had played with a guy named Greg Kelser at Michigan State, and he used to throw the lobs to Greg. So when we got with the Lakers, he was like, "Coop, we got to get you a play." And so he just said, "Coop, when I go to basket, just go, because I'll hit you." And Chick Hearn, the late great Chick Hearn, the voice of the Lakers, he's the one that dubbed it the Coopa-Loop.
That's what's up.
So,
it's such a catchy phrase, and that stuck with you for a long time. One other iconic moment we have to talk about.
Well, you know what, Jackie, and
I know you're
what you're
trying.
Ready to
Yeah,
say,
I know you are.
And
Please
go
just
ahead.
speak
Go,
on it, my friend.
Go.
Dr. J's Rock the Baby Dunk. Let's just quick little note on it.
Do you know what she's talking about?
I know a little. I want to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Talk about your perspective. I did watch an interview and I did hear what you said, but I'd like to hear the perspective on Click Clack.
When that play developed, and I knew what was getting ready to happen, and you know what? An ordinary person would have said, let him go. But I was always about competitiveness, and I'm about contesting things. As we were going down the floor, and I didn't know he was going to do that. I thought he was just going to palm it and come like that. But when he did that, so for me, it was get there to the rim as fast as I can, and if I can get turned, because he caught me like this. If I could have got up in the air and got turned, it would have been the greatest block.
It would have been the greatest block
greatest
instead of
block
one of the greatest dunks. But he didn't really dunk on you. I watched it over and over.
And it was a great dunk. What I did is I just tried to not hit my head on the backboard. I wasn't ducking my head because he was going to come down like that.
I saw it. Yeah, it was. I wouldn't even classify it as you being
Then why'd
dunked
you
on.
bring it up?
It was iconic. So we wanted to talk about these
iconic.
iconic moments, you know.
Well, you know what? Two things that come of that dunk. One, they can't show that without paying me.
Hey! So
Dang.
you're good.
Yeah.
You're collecting checks for that.
So
Well,
you're
no,
saying
they
we
don't show
can't-
it.
Oh.
They don't show it.
Okay.
They showed it one time when Dr. J did the Hennessy commercial, and Hennessy had to call me to clear it.
Love that for you.
Go.
Jackie, if it don't make money, it don't make sense.
I hear you. I know.
If I'm gonna
Coop.
disgrace myself, I'm gonna do it for money.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, Coop, what was the craziest shit talking experience that you had as a player? Either something that you said or from an opponent.
A lot of people didn't talk to us because that wasn't going to affect us. But the craziest thing I can come up with was Larry Bird. We were in the championship game in 1984, and he came down, and I was all up on him, and he was like, "Man, I'm gonna wear your motherfucking ass out." So I'm like, okay, let's go. So I get down to my best defensive stance, and I'm going, and Robert Parrish comes down and sets a pick, and the bird goes off. I get through the screen. Larry catches it. Kareem steps out, and he goes up to shoot the basketball. And I'm like, I got this motherfucker. I'm like that, and I go up. And I don't know how he got this pass, because Kareem was there with both hands. Got this pass through to Parrish, and Parrish dunked it. He said, I told you, motherfucker.
Damn.
So it's moments like that are disheartening.
That stick with you forever.
Yeah, because he said he was going to do something, and he did it. Wow. And the next best thing he's ever said that I was part of, well, there's two other things. In the All-Star Game 3-point shooting contest.
Were you in the 3-point shooting contest?
Yeah. I came in second.
Nice.
1 year.
2 is not a winner.
Last winner. So we're all in there getting instructions. They're talking, saying all this. You got to do this. Coop, you're going to go second, stuff like that. And we're like, what the fuck is Larry Bird?
Yeah.
Because nobody saw him. He walks in, and he goes, I hope you motherfuckers are discussing about who's coming in second, because I'm going to win this shit. And raised his hand and walked out. And then went out and won the shit.
So he not only talked the talk, but he walked the walk.
Walked the walk.
Yeah.
Walked the walk.
That is
and
crazy.
then the last Larry Bird story, I heard this from my friend, the late great Dennis Johnson. Dennis said Casey Jones was drawing up a play against us. And Larry is kind of getting frustrated because nothing going. So coach has a board, he's drawing the play up. And Larry goes, no, fuck this shit. Give me the ball, the rest of you fuckers get out the way.
Give me the ball and get out of the way.
Get out the way, and he went out and scored.
I remember that.
Shot. So he was one of a kind, and the thing you loved about him was his competitive nature. That's what I appreciated about Larry.
That's awesome. That gives me the chills listening. Would you say he's your, like, GOAT, your greatest of all time?
No, no.
Curious who is.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Okay. My dad would say the same.
And I'm going to say the reason why. 3 reasons. One, how do you stop a GOAT?
Mm-hmm.
Double, triple team. You couldn't double or triple team Kareem because he had the sky hook on that. Boston tried that. He sky hooked him to death.
Mm-hmm.
2, how do you stop a GOAT? You foul him. That's why, to me, and I love Shaquille O'Neal, I love Wilt Chamberlain, but they weren't great free throw shooters.
Mm-hmm.
Kareem was a 80-plus in crunch time free throw shooter, hit his free throws.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, a GOAT has to make other players better. So if you're being double or triple team, Kareem's finding people. And that's what all-time great. Do you remember him when he was younger? No.
No, but I watched video and stuff on him. My dad always talks about him.
Kareem was the greatest player that's ever played this game because he changed the game. They outlawed the dunk when he was in college.
Yeah.
And that is how he defined the sky hook.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't dunk. That's all he was doing. So
I didn't know that. That's some cool history
That
facts
is
right
some
there.
cool history.
So, Coop, you're obviously a legend in the NBA, no doubt. And, now we want to pivot a little bit to talk about your coaching career. Because what I was so struck by you when I was doing research and hearing your stories through Jacki, obviously your amazing NBA career, what you've done for the women's game is exceptional. And all the women you've coached, like Jacki, before, like I'm just going to say it, before women's sports had the same attention that it has now. So we want to pivot a little bit to talk about that. So what drew you to the women's game? What made you so excited to coach women after your NBA career?
Well, first of all, getting into coaching was driven by Pat Riley. The way he, his attention to detail, the way we practiced, our preparation, the way
Them
he
fucking
talked about it.
17s.
Yeah, 17.
I'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But that was the thing that I really respected about him, and that's what made me want to become a coach. So when I finished my career in '91, we had a young lady named Rhonda Wyndham that worked for the Los Angeles Lakers. She was a PR person, and Rhonda and I became close because I used to do a lot of public relation things and stuff like that. And Rhonda was a hell of a player for the Women of Troy, USC. And around 93, 94, she had a Say No Classic tournament up at USC for summer for women. And she used to come up and say, Coop, come on up and coach one of our teams. I go, no, Ron, I don't. She said, Coop, just come watch them. Oh, so one day she caught me and she said, Coop, you got to come up. And so I go up to there, and they had it in the old women's gym. The old
Where
gym,
they filmed the
upstairs,
Love of Basketball. Yeah.
Oh.
The
So,
North Gym.
I go there, and that's the first time that I laid eyes on Tina Thompson and Yolanda Griffin and a young Lisa Leslie.
Shit.
And I sat there and I started watching, and I was amazed. These women play better than men, more physical, more fundamentally sound. And so when I left, she goes, Coop, what you think? I said, Rhonda, I love it. How can I be a part? She said, I want you to coach a team. So there was a team she took down to Venice.
You had never coached at that
never
point?
coached women. Never coached women at that point. And I had coached my son and other guys like that. But she had a tournament down at Venice Beach. And I go down there, and that's where I really got a chance to be infused by Yolanda Griffin.
Sacramento Monarchs.
If you don't know Yolanda Griffin thinks, this is basketball-wise, thinks, acts, and plays like a guy. And I had never experienced that in women. And we were playing this game, and there was a girl that was killing us. And I call a timeout. I go, can somebody please guard her? And excuse my language, but this is exactly what Yolanda told me. She said, Coach Cooper, let me guard that bitch. I got her. And I had never heard that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, oh, shit, Yolanda, you got her. Let's go.
Yeah.
And Yolanda went out there and locked her up. Yolanda's 6'4", 6'5", long. And I said, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
So after that, I start hearing the rumors about the WNBA might be coming, because Rhonda was staying closely in touch with that. And finally, it became a reality in 95, 96, 97. 97, the league started, and the Sparks became available. Johnny Buss, Dr. Buss's son, Jeannie Buss's brother, got the team, and he hired Orlando Woolridge. Great player. He passed away since then. So I had kind of be on the outskirts, and I was going to a couple of practices, and Rhonda was like, Rhonda became the general manager. So she was like, Coop, I got to get a way to get you involved. I said, oh, whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the coaches left, and she brought me on as assistant coach. And I was hooked from there.
Wow.
And that's the best. It is the best time I've ever had coaching basketball with women. And then I get my opportunity, and we'll speak about this later, going to USC and being able to be involved with Jacki and the players they had there. But that's what I love about the WNBA, and I like to feel that I'm on the foundation side of it, that holds that league together now. They're in their 27th year.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's only going to get stronger with the players that they have now. But you got to remember, the first dynasty team, Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson, and all the players that they had there, Van Chancellor, working with those ladies and bringing them up. And they're the reason why, and along with Lisa Leslie, Lisa Milton, Dawn Staley, they're the reason why that league is standing up the way it is today. And people forget about that. And it's kind of like the NBA. You forget about Jerry West and Elgin Baylor and players from the past.
Wow. It's so important to get someone like your perspective on that, because I think, there's all this hype around these current players right now and how they've brought the WNBA to where it is, but there is no WNBA without the players, like you mentioned, like the Cynthia Coopers, the Cheryl Swoops, the Lisa Leslies. And I think to an extent, some of those players have a slight chip on their shoulder about that because they don't get the respect that they deserve. So I think it's important that you called that out, and I appreciate that.
Well, you know what? You have to do that because you look at people now and they see these young kids see the NBA, they think it's all started with LeBron.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird initiated all of the things that these guys are getting now. Now the LeBron and Steph are taking it whole to another level, as Caitlin Clark and the rest of the young ladies. But they have to realize how this league is standing and the foundation so firm. And, again, those women did that for the WNBA. And, I mean, that's why it is where it is today. Now, Caitlin Clark, what's her name?
Angel Reese.
Angel Reese, yeah, are the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson in today's game. So they're taking it like that. But again, they can't get too jaded and too unfocused to forget about the players beneath. So you should always shout out. I mean, Caitlin, you got to shout out Dawn Staley.
Oh, yeah.
You got to shout out Allison Feaster. You got to shout out some of the other players that made them to where they are today.
Yep, I cannot agree more. Coop, from a talent perspective, how would you say the game has evolved on the women's side from when you coached for the Sparks till now?
Well, you got to remember the groundworking, solid, fundamental players are the ones from Houston I just talked about, Cheryl Swoops and all of them. Now, the talent started changing when Candace Parker came in there. I mean, she makes her emergence, and Lisa was the last and only true back-to-basket center who could work like Kareem and Elijah Wan and do things like that. Then Candace Parker comes in, and you get a Tim Duncan-like player. Face up, able to put a ball on the floor, can shoot jumpers. So all those things are very important, and it makes the game so much better. So now you got Angel Reese, who is like a rebounding machine. She reminds me of Moses Malone.
Yeah.
I really do. She pads her stats. She throws it up there, gets it, throw it up there, get up. Yeah.
I bought her shirt.
Yeah.
I bought her me-bound shirt.
And then you got Caitlin Clark, like Steph Curry.
I was going to say that same reference.
Just a shooter deluxe, and she's going to be, I really believe, the first woman to average. Like when she really gets ingrained and she's finding her way through, they're laying a lot of wood on her, knocking her down. But when she gets her game down, she's going to average about 32, 35 a game.
You think so?
I really do, because she shoots that well. So
I'm curious, Coop, you've seen the game from a long time ago when it started in 96, 97. You've seen all the legends. Who is your top 5 of all time? I just want to know. Yeah.
Lisa Leslie.
Smooth.
1, 2, 3,
AKA
4,
Smooth.
Yeah. AKA Smooth. But I got to go with Lisa, Cynthia Cooper, Tina Thompson, Cheryl Swoops. And my 5th one is hard because there's been so many great players. Dawn Staley, Nikki Teasley.
You haven't said Cheryl
Miller, Ann Myers, I think.
Candace Parker.
And then you also have
Maya Moore.
Maya Moore, but Sue Bird. Throw her Diana
Taurasi.
Taurasi. So
many.
Yeah.
but if I have to throw one of them in, I'll throw Diana in there. Because Diana, not a throw her in, but Diana's she was
She's
a
a
force,
dog.
man.
Yeah.
Who are you most excited about in the college space right now?
I love that young lady, Paige
Becker. She's a
I know
rookie in the W right now.
Yeah, but players like her that are coming up. But if I have to throw one, Juju. I'm going to give Juju.
I wanted to hear you say Juju.
Yeah, Juju can play. And she's going to be the reason why the league goes to another level when she steps
I agree.
in.
She reminds me of Maya Moore. She has that way to her game, that way about herself, the athleticism.
She's a little more nastier than Maya.
Yeah,
Maya was just fundamentally sound. Juju got that street game in her shit.
Yeah, she's unbelievable. She's one of the best women's players I've ever seen. My eyes have ever seen.
And you know what? This is the thing about that. The injury she sustained, although it was so damaging, and it looks like I've seen her walking around, she's come back. Those type of things raise your game to another level because now she had to work hard to get back, and now she understands. So she's going to be a different player next year.
You know that all too well.
Couldn't agree more.
And she's a women of Troy.
Yeah,
that's right.
She is a woman of Troy.
I mean, I went to University of Arizona, but I could be a USC fan because of her. I love watching her play.
Well, you should be a USC fan because Coop coached me at USC.
And you went to USC.
Only player I know from Arizona, Dia Barnes.
Yeah.
And she was a good player.
Yeah, we had a really good women's team when I was in college.
She at Arizona?
She's at Arizona. Yeah. She had a very successful career.
Yeah, very. And she was a good player for Seattle when we were trying to win a championship. That solid, fundamentally sound player.
Yeah, she's good.
So you talked a little bit, Coop, just about, you've always been an advocate for the women's game, and that sounded like it started in the early 90s, like right after your NBA career ended. For you, like, why is it so important for you to continue to be so ingrained in the women's game?
Because my daughter, and I have a daughter who used to play basketball, but it goes back further than that. My grandmother had 10 kids. She had 6 daughters. My mom used to play. And the things that you learn and experience from sports that can take you into other aspects of your life. Sports, my daughter was kind of thin like me, loved the game of basketball, wasn't a great player, but she learned how to have a lot of confidence. She learned about strength. She learned about working as a unit. She learned about the mental aspect of life itself through basketball. And it was so unfortunate that when she left here, she went and played her high school career in New Mexico. Had a man coach who didn't believe in her and thought she should have been better. But you know what? She said, Dad, I'm not going to let him break me. And that was the thing that almost made me cry and got happy about, because you know what? It's about being strong. And sports built that inner strength in her. And now she has taken that, and she's a therapist now at a prison.
Okay. In prison?
In prison. She goes and talks to guys on death row, and she works with them.
Wow, that's
This is in Alabama.
I remember
now she
this
moved
now
to
that you say
Philadelphia.
it.
Simone, she used to come. So, you know what? All of that wouldn't be possible if it hadn't been for sports. And I think that was the one thing. And I'd like to hear, Jackie, your little explanation on it, too, about what sports have taught you, especially through your injury, knowing that you could lose basketball and had to do other things in life.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the athlete mindset all the time on this podcast, and I think what basketball prepared me for was exactly what you said. Learning how to work within a team to come to a common goal, being able to be adaptable, being able to lead, all of these things. And then for me specifically with my injury, I obviously tore my ACL a ton of times, as you know, and I think for me that level of a mindset that you have to overcome that injury is really hard. I talk to Candace Parker about this all the time. It's just you got to be a little bit different and have a little crazy in you to keep, trying to come back and play. But I think that taught me so much strength and resilience, and that, I was able to carry that with me for my whole life. And I think everything that I do is built on, overcoming adversity and being strong and fighting through it. But also, like, I learned along the way that I had to listen to, like my inner demons too, because I think as an athlete, we're always told to be strong and fight through it. And a lot of the times I needed someone like Simone to talk to, that I didn't really have that resource back in the day, or wasn't really talked about as much as I needed it to be. So I think now when people come to me and they ask me about that, my advice is always to, find someone that you can talk to and really like dive into how you're feeling, because you don't always want to just have to like be strong and get through it and fight through it. You want to have those people that you can lean on.
You know, the one thing that I really listened to, Tom Hanks in what was that the baseball thing? He said, "There's no crying in baseball."
Oh yeah, there's no crying in baseball.
I
A league of
love
their
the
own.
fact that you have to cry, because crying is part of an emotion that sometimes can hinder you. If you cry and let it out, and that's the one thing my daughter told me. She said, "Dad, you know what? The one thing I appreciate about you is that you would have tears for me." You know, because of things that was going on. But she said, "Dad, you know what? You always used to tell me hard work pays off." And it does.
Yeah.
It really does. What do you see in your little experience with sports?
Yeah, I mean, so the reason Jacki and I started this show is because we know girls drop out of sport at a much higher rate than boys do. And I've always loved sports. I played tons of organized sports, even though I was short. I'm very fast. I'm a runner now. I ran a marathon having 2 babies. Right after having 2 babies, I have an athlete mindset, even though I didn't ever get to that elite level like you both did. And I have been able to use that in my career and my experience to be successful. And I still keep challenging myself from a performance perspective. And I want women, whether they are a Jacki or a Lauren, to feel like there is a place for them in sports, and for them to feel like they're seeing the spectrum of women, whether they were Angel Reese wearing 6-inch heels, strutting at the Met Gala, to Caitlin Clark. You know, like there is a spectrum of women. And now with social media and just the expansion of the league and all the opportunities, like more girls are going to see themselves in these women on the court and off the court. And I think that is our key to success of keeping more girls in sports.
What about your kids? You have girls?
I do. I have a girl and I have a boy. So I want my boy to feel all the feels, to see us cry. I also want my daughter to see those things. And so, you know, for me, it's like is Haley going to be an athlete? I don't know. Yes, I'd love her to be. She started crying when I told her I was getting her into soccer, but, you know, here we are. But I think,
not a great sign.
Not a great
That's okay.
sign. But I do think sport makes you so resilient to all the things you talked about. And so, you know, for me, that's my experience. And I love sitting here getting to watch you two relive this journey of sport together, because I never got to live it from this side. So it's really, really special and truly an honor to like hear this from you both together.
You. Yeah. And you know what you mentioned about Angel Reese on 6-inch heels? If I was a coach, I'd be grimacing. Oh my gosh, she's gonna twist her ankle.
No,
I mean, but like the tunnel walks, the tunnel fits, this is a whole new part of women's basketball that is captivating a whole new marketplace. And I think, you know, we talk a lot about the business of women's sports, and, you know, if you go read the comments, everyone's like, the NBA has been, you know, funding the WNBA for years. It's because of the NBA. And it's like, no, the women's game is finally bringing in the money it deserves to really grow this league into a more equitable place for women. And I think it comes with some of these new things like tunnel walks and new fits and seeing flage rap and like storytelling. Like it's critical. So we're going to get more women in.
And the thing about it is that young girls now can watch the WNBA, whereas before, and Lisa Leslie and I talked to Cynthia Cooper, when they were young, they had to watch men.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it doesn't jade them in any kind of way, but now they can watch, these young ladies, they can watch somebody like them.
Facts.
With long hair, brown, blonde, whatever, blue eyes. They can watch them. Skin color doesn't matter. They can watch somebody that looks like me, and I know that is me, and I can emulate them and go on to do great things like they're doing.
You can't be her if you can't see her. We always talk about that on the show.
I like that. Say that again.
Yeah, you can't be her if you can't see her.
There you go.
And like, I never grew up watching women's basketball. Like, it was never on in my house. The NBA was on, or baseball was on. Like, I didn't know any of these women other than maybe Lisa Leslie when I was growing up. And now I'm like, holy shit, these girls are going to have access to so many women.
Yeah.
And not just in basketball, in other sports too. Yeah, so I think that's...
We talk about that all the time, and I never even thought about Lisa Leslie and these older players. They didn't have any women to look up to. I had the Monarchs. I was lucky enough. I had the WNBA that I could watch, but I had to physically be there. It wasn't ever going to be televised or anything.
But you know, before we get off of this, it's like out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
All those players had to go overseas to make their money, to Russia, to Italy, you know, and that was one way. So when they're gone, there's nothing here. Now that doesn't happen because you have the WNBA here. So
yeah, and you have those leagues like Athletes Unlimited and Unrivaled and all that. Can we talk about Jerome?
Sure.
Do you remember Jerome?
Yes.
That would show up at USC practices?
That's right. Jerome was my alter ego. Oh. And Jerome was...
Don't think I forgot.
He was flippant.
He was flipping?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which means anything could happen when he was there. But Jerome loved to dance. Jerome loved to sing. He couldn't sing, but he loved to sing. And Jerome was just different. And I think it was a side of me that I think the women needed to see, because there was so much strife that they had going on with academics, home life, them finding themselves, all kind of things like that. So Jerome would come and change the whole atmosphere.
Ooh, Coop, what advice would you offer men that are coaching women's basketball or just women's sports in general?
I would go to what I call Coop's 5Ds.
I wanted you to talk about this. Yes.
Dedication, desire, discipline, and decision making. And if you use those 5Ds in coaching women or just anybody in sports, I like to think you're going to be successful. I think the most important one, though, is not a D, but it's a P, and that's have patience. Because everybody's not going to be as great as you are. And I think that's one reason why you don't see like LeBron or Kobe or Magic. They're not good coaches because they don't have the patience. And I'm not saying that that is a negative for them, because great players think on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So if you have patience with yourself and your team and use those 5Ds, that'll help you become a pretty good coach, if not a championship coach.
Love that. Mic drop.
Mic
Good shit,
drop.
Coop. Coop, why should people watch and care about the WNBA?
Because it's part of our culture now. And, the late, great Kobe Bryant, there are a lot of dad girls out there, girl dads.
Yeah.
And what better way to show your daughter another side of life, a side that they can, and it's just not basketball, it's just athletics in general. But I just think the things that come along with basketball, that comes along with sports, that they can learn a lot from. I would suggest any armchair person, man, mostly men, don't watch a WNBA game on TV. If you're going to watch a game, you got to go to the game. You got to go to the game and experience it up court and up live and hear the sounds and watch these women. Once you do that, you'll gain a different appreciation for it. So then when you watch it on TV, you'll understand.
I could not agree more.
Women don't play above the rim, they play below the rim,
Yeah.
but they're starting to.
Yeah.
But below the rim, the game is so beautiful that you don't see that in the NBA.
Yeah.
Women play a totally different game than men because it looks creative, and they're doing things and they're helping each other to score a basket, where men get one move, go up and dunk.
I don't think you can truly see someone's talent like from the TV either. It's just a different level of like being able to really see who that player is and what they're about.
I'm just really curious because I think your passion for women's sports, your knowledge of the game, pay equity is a big challenge right now for these women. And you probably saw loud and clear at All-Star the Pay Us What You Owe Us shirt. And, being in the NBA, seeing the kind of money that comes through the NBA and what the opportunity is for the WNBA, what's your perspective on that?
I think women do. You should pay them. And you got players coming in at a whole nother level. And I don't think Juju should be coming in and be underpaid at all. I think with the NILs and the money that these women can make, and you have to pay them their money. And I think salaries should get up in the millions now. I think for your elite players, you can't pay everybody that, but your elite players, Caitlin, Angel Reese, Juju when she gets here, some of the other ones, they need to be paid $1.1 million, okay? And even though it's a short amount of time, but the work they put in, women work 8-9 months around the year. Men play 8 or 9 months, but they only work 2.5, 3 months in the summertime. So yeah, let's pay them. Get their money. Get that money.
Get that money.
Get that money. Get that money.
Am I allowed to do that?
Yes.
So, Coop, can you tell us a little bit about the process of writing your memoir? And what was that like for you in the process?
Well, I just wanted to write my book because all the other Lakers have written one. And I just thought it was time now, because it's been, 34, 35 years since I last played. And Magic has 4 books. Riles have books. I just wanted to hear people. I wanted people to hear my side of what I felt of Showtime and some of the strives that I had to go through, the trials and tribulations of my life, and hopefully it'll help somebody. But it wasn't about purging my soul or getting something out. No, I just wanted to tell the story, of how the long socks became a reality, how the sweatbands, and how the many nicks and knacks I have on my head from playing basketball, and the blood, sweat, and skin I left on the floor. So I just wanted to tell it.
And don't you have a story with the Air Force Ones? Like, weren't you a part of that era?
Yep.
Ooh,
The Air
tell
Force
us.
One. Well, that was myself, Bobby Jones, the late Moses Malone, Michael Thompson, Calvin Nat. We were the original ones of the Air Force Ones. And so these kids walk around. It's a great shoe that they
Still a
have.
great shoe.
But you know what? Nobody really got the identity for that shoe. So that's why they just call it Air Force One. But there's a poster of us
I know, I've
remember
seen
standing
seeing
out
it.
on the tarmac, and we've really kind of like
You guys were the
airmen.
trailblazers
Yeah,
behind the
for
Air
that.
Force
So
Ones.
it was a great. They did the 10th anniversary of that shoe in Las Vegas. They did a thing. They brought us all together.
Oh.
Yeah, I
So it was
figured they
kinda
had
really
to do
cool,
something
yeah.
about that.
Insane.
And we all got a special shoe that they made for us, and it has all your credentials or your stats on the inside, pictures on the bottom. It's a real nice shoe.
What is your favorite sneaker of all time?
Well, I'm a Nike person, but when I first came into the league, I was an Adidas person. And that soft shell toe, that
yeah.
leather toe, I love that shoe. Really, but it wasn't sturdy and durable. I used to sprain my ankles. So my favorite shoe is Nike.
Okay.
And then ASIC came and lured me away with a lot
Really?
of money.
Wow.
You were signed with Asics?
Yeah, ASICs. Man, Kurt Rambis was the first NBA
Oh
players to
shit,
wear
I
that
didn't
shoe.
know that. That's tight.
Wow.
And there was a poster of Kurt and I, and what it was like ASICs. You play as a young person, it turns you into a pro. So they had these two kids that look exactly like us.
Oh, that's
and then on
amazing.
top half of the poster,
I gotta
showed me and Kurt
YouTube
Rambis.
that.
Yeah,
So dope.
but
Wow.
no, my love, my journey, my passion is always Nike.
I love
Nike's
that.
It's a good shoe, but Nike's good for. I had narrow feet, so it's a good shoe. Like
So I need to know, what is your favorite women's basketball shoe right now?
the Sabrina
That's
a good shoe.
Inescus. Those are. I heard that is a very nice. Yeah, I heard. See, I would wear this.
It's like it's like a replica of Kobe's almost.
Yeah, I would wear this because
Yeah.
they have some shoes out there that are kind of clunky and stuff. But I hear a lot of some of our team at Cal State LA. Some of the players wear this.
Oh, yeah,
so it's
for sure.
light.
It's a
I
nice
know,
shoe.
that's a size 7. That's a women's 7 right there, Coop. Probably don't see many of those.
I know.
No,
the size
beautiful
of her
shoe
foot.
though. Beautiful
Gorgeous,
shoe.
right?
I had to show you. Jackie brought these back for me from All Star, so.
All right, Coop, we're going to leave you with this. One last question, my friend. What else is going on in your life? Anything fun? Anything exciting? Give us some tea.
Well, the most exciting thing I'm having fun with now is my youngest son, Niels.
Niels.
He'll be a junior at UC Davis.
How the fuck is he
And
already a
he
junior at
is-
UC Davis? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember he was a...
Yeah,
Just a
well,
little-
he's not little anymore. He's 6'7".
Oh,
And he's filling out. So he had I don't say a rough year. He was more of a rebounder, kind of like me. But this year we've been working on his game and taking him to the gym, and he is getting ready to come into his own. So I'm really excited about to see how he plays this year.
that's awesome.
He is one of 3 players that stayed on the team because the portal now, everybody after every year they jump in there. But I told him he had to stay. If you're going to make a commitment, that's the one thing that I don't like about high school and college ball. There's no loyalty now.
Yeah.
And so he has made a commitment to stay there. And I'm excited about seeing him.
When you
come
say
into his
made a
own.
commitment to stay there, like he signed multi-year deal to stay?
No, he just was going to stay there.
Like
you
he's a
know.
verbal
Well, he
commitment.
went as a freshman. He went to Pepperdine. And then the coaching staff got fired, so he went into the portal. And Davis, I said, okay, whoever you go with, you're going to spend your next 3 years here.
So it's just like a verbal commitment to
Yeah,
do it?
to me, to us and our family and stuff like that.
He's at
And
UC Davis?
UC Davis.
In Sacramento?
Sacramento.
Wait, is Mike Bibby coaching
No,
there?
that's Jim Less.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Mike Bibby is at Sac State.
Yeah,
or
he's at
something like
Sac
that,
State, yeah.
So, but no, that's all I got going, as well as, I mean, other little things, but those are things that really, really make me happy. And I'm like, oh, the
You've
other
got
thing,
grandkids, too.
yeah,
Oh,
Mike,
you're a-
Deuce.
I know.
You're a
coached
grandpa?
the first time.
Oh my god.
Deuce has twins.
Deuce has twins.
Wow.
Michael
Madison
Cooper Jr.
and Michael the third.
That is so cute. I saw
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah.
Coop sent, Coop
They're
Jr.
getting
sent me
big too.
pics.
They were preemies, so they were really small. And
Oh.
I saw them when they were Madison was about big as my hand. So now they're at home and they're getting big, and I can't wait to. Mike lives way out in Walnut. I can't wait till they're walking because I'm gonna go get them. Y'all got the weekend off.
Oh, that's
So-
amazing. Coop.
But I'm gonna abide by the rules, so I won't be feeding them sugar and all that. Then take them back home.
What? That's the job of a grandparent. My mom never shows up without candy, and I'm like, just let it happen.
Having just a little bit, but no, that's kind of like you got to adhere to the parents. So.
Wow. Wow.
So-
Well, Coop, it was
fun.
truly an honor to have you on this show. Thank you for making the flight up to see us. I'm always very honest about this. I'm a new fan of the game, and I've really fallen in love with it. And it's really important for me through this show, through our business, to help celebrate the stories of the past, present, and future that are going to shape this game and women's sports. And you have been a huge part of that. Thank you for coming on the show.
And last thing I'd like to say, Coop, you were a very special part of my personal basketball career. You taught me how to be a pro in college, and that was the biggest lesson that I could have got from a coach in college. I brag about it. I was fortunate enough to have you as my coach at USC. You prepared me for what was next, so thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome, Jackie. But you know what? We never really got to connect on the court, and that's why
only
we
had
a
a
lot
year
of
with you.
experiences off the court. Because again, basketball is a small portion of who we are, sports. So it's kind of nice to see you grow into a married young lady, and I feel
She's a business owner too.
Like
now.
I say, it takes a village to raise people,
I know.
And that's what it is. So.
I know. We appreciate you, Coop.
Thank you.
Fucking legend up in here.
Legend up in here, you guys. It's really hard for me to summarize how I felt after that interview because it was truly magical to watch you and him especially talk about the game and to literally get to be a bit of a fly on the wall because I'm nowhere near the steward of the game that you guys are, not even in the same universe or orbit. But it was like electric, Jack. You did an incredible job interviewing him, but also connecting with him on a deeper level, which you obviously have that relationship. He's so charismatic.
Yeah,
and
he is.
Cares so much about women.
Yeah.
And like helping women in sports. And that is what we're all here about. So that was my thoughts.
No,
what about you?
It's a great way to put it. I also saw a version of Coop that I never was able to experience as one of his players. The reason why he is so, into women's basketball and has been invested for this many years, I thought those stories really hit home for me because, we never got to see that side of him, that kind of mushy, softer side and like the real ins and outs of why he's a part of the women's game. I mean, Coop has been watching women's basketball and women's basketball evolve in the heart of basketball in the city of LA. And he's seen the best of the best players come in and out of that city, and he's seen it all firsthand and how it's grown. And for him to be invested in the beginning when it wasn't, the prettiest thing or the most shiny thing to be doing, he was doing it then because he believed in what he saw. And when he saw those players play at the North Gym at USC, Lisa Leslie and all these legends. And, I think that was so moving for me to hear because he saw something special in them. And he was like, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. And he won championships with the Sparks, and he was around the women's game for so long. So it's for someone of his stature and what he did for the Showtime Lakers and the glue that he was to that team, it was absolutely incredible to listen to him speak about all parts of basketball. And it was an honor to be sitting here with him in my basement with you on Click Clack.
Well, and obviously he came up here, like flew up here to come on our show. And I think that's just a testament to your relationship and the relationships you've built over your career in sports and out of sports because you're such a people magnet. He saw greatness in you as well.
Thank you.
I see greatness in you in this new space. And like what he talked about with the athlete mindset, I was so happy he went there.
Same.
Because, I think it's really easy for, stewards of the game, people that had big careers like he did or you, to really focus in on the game and the stats and to me, one of the greatest messages from that interview was like, stay in sports because sports make you great, whether you're me or you're just playing as a weekend warrior, which we always talk about. And so to hear someone that legendary talk about that, also get vulnerable and emotional about his own experiences and his kids and how he's raising his kids. I just felt like that. I have like full body chills even reliving that as we recap the episode because to see a man get that vulnerable after being that big, like having that big of a persona is really, really special.
I could not agree more. Like I said, a side of him that I hadn't met yet, but it was amazing to be there and witness that. And I thought the way you contributed to the interview too was spot on and great and fit in just perfectly.
That's why we good together, boo.
I know, girl.
Both sides of the spectrum of sport.
Love that.
Well, hopefully, will we ever meet Jerome? Nobody knows.
I mean, I hope one day that you can experience Jerome. He was something else. That was a character I will never forget.
But Coop, you've got the biggest fans in the world here. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah.
I think we should go get some snacks now because we're always fucking hungry after these interviews.
I need more than a snack, girl. We need
Ugh.
a full on
Maybe a couple
5-course
shots.
meal.
Couple shots.
Yeah, I'd love that too.
Ooh, tequila.
Coop loves tequila.
Should we send him some Patron?
Yeah, we probably
some
should.
Kobe's and Patron.
Yeah,
Let's fucking go.
He would be obsessed. He would fly down here anytime if we sent him tequila and
right.
the Kobe's.
All right, let's do it. Okay, well, we love you all. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and it was a big one for us.
Yes, it was. Thank you, guys.